What is going on? This is AlTone, and today I actually want to talk to you about maintaining proper maintenance and storage and charging of your LiPo batteries for your RC vehicles, cars, trucks, drones, helicopters, whatever they are. If they use LiPos, that's what we're talking about today. What I have here on the table is I have a bunch of chargers, and I actually have a bunch of batteries to give you some examples and just kind of show you what's going on with these batteries. Now, I started recording this video earlier, but I realized that there is so much information just regarding, especially for beginners, batteries within themselves, maintenance and charging, and storage of them, that you probably, I need to split this up into two videos. So this is just video part one of dealing with usage of and understanding LiPo batteries and how to charge them. So let's get into it. So first of all, like I said, LiPo batteries. Many of your vehicles, your RC vehicles, especially ready runs, come with batteries. They don't always come with batteries for your controller, but they do usually, with some exceptions, come with batteries for the vehicle itself. Like this is a 22 milliamp hour LiPo battery that actually came with one of my Relarlo, my X12S buggy that I just finished doing a video on here recently. And then these little batteries actually came with their one cell LiPos that actually came with some of my Volantex 400 millimeter aircraft. I have quite a few of them, and those are the batteries that you actually use in those particular aircraft. So again, as you begin to get more and more into the hobby and get more and more aircraft, and many of them come with additional batteries, some of them will come with LiPos, some of them will come with lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion batteries tend to be a little bit more, from my understanding of, I don't use them frequently, but tend to be a little bit safer to use. They also don't pack the power of a LiPo battery. So if I have a RC car, vehicle, whatever that comes with a lithium-ion battery, or often replace that with a LiPo battery so I can get more power out of it and actually have a better experience with whatever it is that I'm flying or driving. So let's talk about the LiPo battery itself. So here I have a 4-cell 6200 milliamp hour CNHL LiPo in a hard shell. This is a very good brand battery. This particular battery is one that I use in one of my speed run cars for us, as well as this guy flies in one of my one balsa wood aircraft and my flying wing that I designed myself. A 4S battery, it's got 4 battery cells within this battery, and that then tells you or provides you with an output voltage that is necessary for the ESC, or electronic speed controller, and the motor that you're using to power your car, aircraft, drones, whatever it is you're using it for. This is what provides that power. So it's basically your fuel tank. Now, these things have your power lead that actually connects directly to your ESC, and then they have a balance port. This balance port is pretty important. The reason why it's important is because for many of your RC vehicles that you get batteries with, they come with a charging cable. I have tons and tons and tons of these little charging cables because I never use them. They actually plug into your balance port on your battery and then plug into some USB power source, and then they charge your battery up very, very slowly for safety reasons. And then they automatically, or they should automatically turn off once the battery is full. There's no real indication on how well balanced the cells are, and balancing the cells means they have very, very close to the same amount of voltage per cell. This guy doesn't necessarily do that for you, so you have no idea how well balanced your battery is, and therefore you don't know how good the health of that particular battery is. And that's the reason why I don't really use these. I only use them when I absolutely have to. So that's the thing about these LiPo batteries. How you can tell how many cells in case your label completely gets ripped off. You might not be able to tell how many milliamp hours capacity the battery has, but you can tell what size battery it is by or how many cells the battery has by the balance charger. If it is a 4 cell battery, it has 5 wires on it. If it is a 3 cell, you're going to have 4 wires on your balance lead. 2 cell, you're going to have 3. And 1 cell, you will not have a balance lead because it's a single cell. The cells basically are rated at 3.7 volts. However, they have a max capacity of 4.2 volts per cell. And that will have something to do, the number of cells will have a direct effect on how much voltage is actually put out of the battery to your ESC to be able to power your motor as well as all the other electronics in your aircraft or your vehicle, your RC vehicle. So let's talk about maintenance of the battery and maintaining your battery. One of the things that you don't want to do, again, the reason why it is important for you to have a good charger for your batteries. You do not want to charge these guys up and leave them charged for days at a time, because that full charge will cause problems for your battery. The other thing is you do not want to discharge the battery beyond 3 volts per cell, because if you do, that will also cause damage to the battery. It is important for you to be able to have some type of device that is going to charge your batteries well. If you've bought many RC vehicles and you started to collect them over time and you want these batteries to last you, I've got 1 6 cell, but these 4 cell batteries from CNHL are very good quality and they're not cheap. So you want to maintain these batteries and keep them for a very long time. I have had very, very few batteries fail me because I properly maintain the batteries. What does that actually mean? That means that you're going to charge your battery up no more than 24 hours before you're going to use it. And if you don't use it, or after you use it, you're going to check the voltage, make sure it's in a storage voltage after it's discharged. You're not going to discharge the battery beyond 3 volts per cell. And then you're going to make sure that you store your batteries properly in some place where they won't get any damage done to them. And if for some reason they do happen to fail, wherever they're stored, they won't cause any damage, because LiPo batteries can cause fires. So I keep mentioning that you want to have a good charger if you have LiPo batteries. I have quite a few. Again, I have them all sitting here, including my very first charger, which still works. However, there are a couple of other tools that you're going to want to have that should help you out quite a bit. And so let's talk about those really quickly. The first thing that I believe is going to be beneficial for you is having a battery alarm. What these little battery alarms do, they come in different shapes and sizes. You can actually set them. There's a single button on here, and depending on the battery alarm, you press that button a certain amount of times. This one actually has the information on the back to tell you how to set it, and you can set the alarm voltage. So when you plug your balance lead into the back here, make sure you put the negative side on the negative. You plug it in here, it will beep. So for example, we're going to go ahead and do that really quickly here. The good thing is you can't destroy these. And this is very loud, as you can see. And that's telling me the voltage for each one of the cells. So this is one way that you can check your voltage when you're out in the field. Even if you don't connect this to your battery while you're running your vehicle, you can still have this in your pocket, and this will give you the ability to quickly check and see how much voltage you actually have on the battery. Normally for 1 cells, like this one, you can actually use this as well, but it doesn't always work. It does tell you 1 cell, 3.9 volts. I actually need to put this one in storage. I don't know why this would be at 3.9 volts, but that's another thing. You want to check your batteries every so often. I did go out to fly recently. This guy should be in a storage voltage. So I often go back and on a regular basis and go through all of my batteries, and I have quite a few. It can take me a few hours to go through all my batteries and check them, and check to make sure that none of them have dropped below, as they're sitting in storage, drop below 3 volts per cell, and make sure that none of them are above say 3.9 volts per cell. I try to keep them in that 3.8 volt range, 3.6 to 3.8. And I can also check to see how well balanced the charge on them still is. And that way I don't have to worry about them getting damaged in storage over time. And a very inexpensive device. You can keep this in your pocket, take it out. You can plug it in on your aircraft or on your drone or whatever it is you're flying. If there's space, you can put this in there, and whatever voltage you set it at, once your voltage drops to that point, even if it's sagging because you're on the throttle, it will start an alarm. That beep that you heard earlier, you will hear that beep, and that will let you know that your battery's getting low. It's time for you to bring the vehicle in and swap your battery out. And that, I believe, is fantastic. This is an absolute must. If you don't have anything else other than this, this is something that you should have. And what I often did was, if I go out and ran a vehicle after charging it up, even using the included charger, taking hours to charge the battery, after charging it up, and I would go out, run it for a little while, and then bring it back and check it, and just by plugging the balance lead and see if I'm between 3.6 and 3.8. If I am, it's the perfect voltage for me to store. I take it out. I know that that battery can be stored. When I come back home and get ready to put the battery away for storage, I'll check it again to make sure. And if you have nothing but this, this will help you extend the life of your batteries by itself. The next thing that I highly recommend, and this is a 5-in-1 cell meter. Now, this particular one is from Turnigy. This is a really good one. And then Toolkit RC has this one with this nice color screen on it. There is a difference between the two. This one is a little bit more expensive, and it does a little bit more for you other than just check your batteries. And on the part 2 of this video, I will go through and actually show you what the screen actually looks like on each one of these devices. If you would like to see an individual video for each one of these devices, let me know, and I'll make the time out to create a video for each one of these devices and show you in depth how each of them work. But you can use it for 5 different types of batteries, and you can set the type of battery with the type button here and then check each individual cell, and that works out really, really good. So if you're doing some testing, bench testing, you want to find out what the max voltage is on your battery as you're doing bench testing and that kind of thing, this will actually do that for you. This one is really, really good. Also very inexpensive. You can find them everywhere. I would absolutely have one available. The Toolkit RC one is really cool in that it does a little bit more than just give you the information on your batteries. It'll give you a screen with each individual voltage for each of them, and at the bottom it gives you temperature, total voltage, and the percentage or capacity. It says it at 60% right now, and it will also allow you to check your servos. So there's a servo adapter here, and then you have a slider on the side. So you can actually, and it's got USB connection. This thing does a lot. And again, if you want me to show you more about this particular device, then just let me know in the comment section, and I'll make sure that I put together a video talking about each one of these devices individually so that you get the opportunity to see them up close and personal. But this is a nice little, it's the MC8 multi-checker for your batteries. This is awesome. This is what I prefer to use most days because I don't have to scroll through to see the voltage on each one of my batteries. It shows, on each one of the cells. It shows me that up front, which is fantastic. And now it gets to charging, discharging your batteries. So one of the things, and let's go ahead and go with this 6600 milliamp hour CNHL 120C LiPo battery. This is a 2S LiPo battery. Now the reason why I'm pulling this up right now is because there's one thing that you'll want to know, and that is for each one of these particular chargers, you're going to want to know, or you're going to set manually your amperage setting on here. And what you do not want to do is you don't want to set your amperage higher than 1C. Is essentially, this is a 66 milliamp hour LiPo battery. So when I set the charge for this, the max charge is going to be 4.2 volts, which you can actually adjust on each one of these chargers. Most of them will allow you to charge your adjust your max voltage. I always set mine to 4.2 volts per cell. And I suggest some people doing speed runs try to go higher than that to try to get more out of the battery. I don't recommend doing it. Even for speed runs, I do not overcharge my batteries. So you can set your max charge to 4.2 volts per cell. And then when you set the amperage for a 66 milliamp hour LiPo battery, I set my amperage to 6.6 amps, which is a single, which is 1C. Some people will go up to 1.5C. They'll set it a little bit higher. They might, depending on how I'm feeling one day, if it's a 6.6, I might set it to 7 amps. But I don't go very much higher than 1C. I definitely won't do 2C. Some people will actually charge at 2C, which would put that at 12 amps, essentially. I won't do that. And it doesn't matter, charge or if I'm storage charging. I usually set my storage charge to 3.8 and balancing the battery out at 3.8 volts per cell. That is what I do. And just to give you another quick example, we have a 2.2 milliamp hour LiPo 3S LiPo battery here. Yes, the charger recognizes once you plug in the balance lead how many cells is in the battery. And then I set, if I'm charging it, max 4.2 volts per cell. And then my amperage on a 2200 milliamp hour is going to be 2.2. I would set the same for this one. And then we have an Ergonix 1000 milliamp hour battery. I would set that to 1 amp. Anything less than 1000. So I have some 800. Do I have any here? No. I have some 800 milliamp hour LiPos. I will set them to 0.8 amps to charge them and to discharge. Now, if you are advanced, there are some things that you can do. So I do often charge. So I have two 2200 milliamp hour LiPo batteries here. And later on, I'll do a video on how I charge them together. But I basically add the capacity together, and I use that in order to set my amperage. If you're a beginner, I do not suggest you doing that. I actually have my parallel charging board here that allows me to charge multiple. I can charge up to 6 batteries at the same time with this thing. Again, as long as they are the exact same capacity, which is in this case 2200 milliamp hour, and they have the same cell count. Again, in this case is 3 cells, then you can charge them parallel together and it shouldn't cause any issues. And last but not least, you never ever want to leave your batteries charging unattended. Always be with them, where visible, while they're charging. So if something does happen to go wrong with the charge, you can act on it quickly and save yourself, your home, your family, whatever it is, your workspace, you can save it. That is all of that information, and that was quite a bit. I know this has been a super long video. I hope that I provided you with some really good quality information. There will be a part 2 to this video coming up, as I said before, where we will actually do a little bit of drop-down demonstration of charging, setting things up for charging. I'll probably even demonstrate the storage, the parallel charging that I do with this guy as well, and hopefully get you on the road to understanding how to charge, maintain, and store your LiPo batteries for your RC vehicles. So if this has been valuable to you, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what your thoughts down in the comment section. Also, let me know what questions that you have. I really appreciate you coming by and hanging out with me today. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you again in a future video.